Hey, chemistry students, let's talk about chemical change. So remember that chemical reactions are happening all around us all the time. Whether you walked outside to see a green leaf or you popped some cookies in the oven, today at some point you either witnessed or induced chemical change. So we're going to go over really quickly what chemical change is. We're going to talk about different types of evidence of chemical change. That evidence can come in the form of direct observation, no measurement necessary. And that means a change in color, a sound, a smell, etc. It can also mean things that you can measure, right, which include a change in temperature. Reaction can either be exothermic or endothermic, and we'll talk about that. You can see a change in pH. You can measure a change in pH, which is just acidity. So a gas might also form if a chemical change is happening, and we'll talk about gathering evidence of that. So there are two types of change, and we'll talk about both of them in this class. There's chemical change and there's physical change. And we're talking about chemical change in this video. So chemical change involves the formation of a new substance, whereas physical change involves a new form of a substance developing. Okay, so what that means is a chemical change would be like putting cookies into the oven and then coming out a new substance. So before you put them in, it's squishy, it's doughy, it's light. They come out, they're a little bit darker, they're harder, they've got some gas bubbles inside of them. A physical change means that you still have the same substance, but it's in a different form. So an example would be snow melting into water. Before it's a solid, and then it becomes a liquid. So focusing on chemical change, which means the formation of a new substance, and what kinds of evidence we can gather to indicate that a chemical change is happening. So these are things that you don't need any instruments to measure. You can smell a chemical change occurring, like cookies in the oven. A change in color might be happening. A gas might be forming. Heat might be released. And finally, the formation of a solid might occur, which is called precipitate. So this is the screen that you saw in your gizmo, and we have sodium and water, and we're mixing sodium with water to find out what happens. So take a look at this screen and find out what evidence you see that indicates a chemical change might have occurred. Pause the video, look around, and find some evidence. Okay, so you should have seen a change in temperature or noticed a change in temperature. So at the beginning of the reaction, it was 21 degrees Celsius. At the end, it was 89 degrees Celsius. So is this an exothermic or an endothermic reaction? Well, the heat of the system increased, which means that the reaction was releasing heat, meaning that it was exothermic. Okay, the second type of change that we can measure is a change in pH. So when you start this reaction, this orange color in the phenol red solution indicates that the water's pH is neutral. And then after the solution has occurred, you redo the phenol red test, and pink color indicates that pH has changed to basic. Basic is the opposite of acidic. Okay, so we set up our flask with a gas collection or a gas formation chamber here. And basically what's going to happen is the sodium is going to be dropped into the water, and the reaction will happen. And a gas might form. If a gas forms, what's going to happen is it's going to move through this glass tube. It will exit the flask through the glass tube and then move down the glass tube up to the top of this test tube. When that happens, the water will be displaced. So, does a gas form when sodium is dropped in water? The answer is yes. How do you know the water was displaced by the gas in the tube? That's chemical changes, folks. Thanks a lot. Hope you have a great day.